Hey there, it's Alan. Today we're going to be brewing one of these Mangrove Jacks hard seltzer kits. I see that these have been quite popular lately in craft brew pubs, but also for home brewers. I wanted to see what all the hype was about. I've never had a hard seltzer before, so this is entirely new for me. I've never made one. So what I'll do is I'll go through an unboxing and then we'll get into the brew day. So this is the Mangrove Jack's Raspberry Breeze Hard Seltzer. We'll see what's inside of it. All right, so there's a pouch of, it says makes 20 liters of sugar, the sugar syrup. It's a blend. Okay, so there's a pouch there. We're going to heat this up in hot water just before the brew day, and I'll describe that. There is an instruction sheet. It tells you how to do the prep and the ferment, and then stage 2 for adding flavor, and then bottling or kegging. In my case, I'm going to be kegging the seltzer because I think you'll get better results. My home brew shop said that you get best results if you're kegging it, so I can force carbonate it and get the carbonation just right, and hopefully that'll help with clarity so you're not bottle conditioning. Right here we have Mangrove Jack's beer finding, so there's a liquid pouch here. Mangrove Jack's hard seltzer sweetener. Mangrove Jack's hard seltzer yeast and nutrients. This is 25 grams. It's a packet, much larger than what you would need for fermenting beer. And 2 more packets. One is the actual raspberry flavor. So it's mostly a clear liquid, not that much. It says it's 11 grams of flavoring. So this makes 20 liters, so I guess that this must be really concentrated to get that kind of flavor. And the last one is another fining agent here that's poured in. I believe this goes into the second stage. So that's everything that's in the box. Right now I'm going to prepare the pouch. I'm going to warm it up in some hot water and let it sit for a bit, and then I'll get my equipment sanitized. All right, so we're back. I'm going to go through the sanitizing process and then the prep for actually making the seltzer. What I've got here down in front of me is the pouch standing in a pan of hot water, and that's to soften the sugar syrup. It says to leave it for 30 minutes, but I can tell inside it's very viscous. It'll pour out quite easily, so I'm just ensuring that it's going to pour out easily. We'll see how that goes. So in the meantime, I'm going to get ready. Behind me here, I've got some pre-mixed star sand. I'm going to dump this or part of it into my fermenter, run it through the spigot, and I have a pair of scissors, my stir paddle, Airlock, and a hydrometer, as well as some star sand in a spray bottle, so I can get all this ready. And here we go. So I'm going to sanitize the fermenter, pour some star sand in here. That should be enough to splash it around. It'll mix in there. Really like this SS Brewtech brew bucket. It works well. I stopped using plastic buckets for the most part, just to avoid using plastics altogether, but also the stainless steel won't impart any kind of off flavors in the brew. So I'm going to give this a good shake. It'll be a bit noisy because of the handles. And then I'm going to pour some out into there. give this spray the star sand just in case. Should be good to go. Next, I'm going to pour some star sand into this. I bought this wallpaper tray. They're hard to get these days because I don't think a lot of people use wallpaper, but anyway, it works really well for putting equipment into. You just lay it down, pour some star sand into it, you're good to go. Should be good. And also, just a note on the type of water I'm using. I bought these large 5-gallon jugs of water. It's spring water. That way I'm getting away from city tap water and the chlorine and unknown constituents of the water. I find it makes a cleaner brew. When I'm brewing all grain, I'm able to adjust the water because this is like using a blank slate. So that works quite well. So now that we have all of our sanitized equipment, I'm going to empty out the star sand from the fermenter. Don't fear the foam. Actually took a while to actually not fear the foam, but it really doesn't do anything. It changes nothing in the flavor profile of beer or anything else you're fermenting, so it's all good to go. So the next thing we'll do is we'll take the pouch, stand it up here carefully, and I'll take the sanitized scissors, spray a little bit of star sand on here just to make sure. Should be good. Cut this open. I'll keep the scissors and the star sand just so I can be able to open up the yeast packet after. So in here, it's just a clear glucose liquid. It doesn't look like there's anything that's crystallized inside, so there's no fear there for needing to rinse it too much. So the instructions say to pour this into the fermenter, squeeze out the remains, and then rinse it with some hot water. We're going to be adding 1 liter of boiled water into the fermenter to stir and incorporate. I'll actually pour some into this so that I can rinse out all that good sugar. So I'm going to pour this right into the fermenter. That's good for now. And then I'm going to pour some hot or boiling water into that pouch and carefully put it into the fermenter. All right, so I'm back. I've got a jug of just a little over 1 liter of boiled water. I'm going to pour this into the glucose pouch to rinse it out a little bit, not too much, and then be really careful about handling it. Let's take this off. Shake that around a little bit, pour it into the fermenter. It's good, that's fine. All right, now it says to pour 1 liter of boiling water and mix with sanitized paddle, so we'll do that. So this is always a good point to mention. Make sure that the spigot's closed on your fermenter bucket. It would be nothing worse than losing all of that. So I'll take my sanitized paddle here. Okay, foam and everything. I'm going to give this a good stir. Probably good. And next I'm going to add my spring water up to the 20 liter mark. So it says to fill it right to the 20-liter mark. Check that it's within the temperature range of 18 to 26 before pitching the yeast and nutrients, and let it to ferment for 7 days. So I'm going to take first bottle of spring water. I'm going to pour it in. So I've only got it just shy of 4 gallons there. I have another jug to top it up to this. Okay, we got exactly 20 liters. Instructions say to give, add contents of the yeast and nutrient and sweetener sachets, and then stir to mix. So I've got the yeast and nutrient packet. We'll put that in, as well as the sweetener. Almost looks like brewing yeast, but you can tell there's something else added to it. Anyway, normally I don't stir in yeast, but for this one, for this seltzer, I'm going to just follow the instructions, so see how it turns out. I don't like stirring in the yeast because I don't like what's left over on the brew paddle, for fear of losing any, but it looks like there's plenty there. The sweetener, it really just looks like, artificial sugar or whatever. Pour that in. All right, let's give this a good stir. This is important for aerating, getting that yeast incorporated. It's a little bit cloudy. Between the yeast and the nutrient, it's probably clouded up, but that's all going to drop out to the bottom. Especially in a fermenter like this, it's going to drop right to that cone, and I'll be able to rack all of the seltzer off of that. I've already made a mess with splashing, so this is probably not going to be too bad. I'll give this a good stir. Got to oxygenate it a little bit. That should be good. Put this down and put on the lid. Give this one final spray of Star San. And Bob's your uncle. That's it. The last thing I need to do is get this up to my fermentation area. I'm taking note of the temperature. It says it's 25.5, so that's within the range that we want. Okay, so we're back. We just have 2 more things left to do, and then we're ready to let it ferment. Made a mistake. I should have check the temperature before pitching the yeast. It's right up against the threshold of where it says it's comfortable for the yeast to be fermenting. It says it's 25.4 right now. should be okay. I'll watch, see how it does for fermenting. I can get this into an area that's about 19 or 20 degrees Celsius to let it ferment. So what we have left to do is we're going to take a gravity sample and then we're going to fit the airlock onto the fermenter, and then I'll move it. It says that the starting gravity should be between the range of 1028 to 1032. So let's take a gravity sample now. And again, I should have done this before pitching the yeast. It's probably not a good idea to do that, but it doesn't look like there's any yeast that's come out of that. So you can see it's not clear, it's real cloudy. See what the gravity is reading here. It says it's about 1030. I'm happy with that. I've got exactly 20 liters in there. Yeah, 1030, maybe 1031 at the most. I'll take note of that. Last thing I need to do is put in the airlock. I have this here in Star San, so it should be good. Put that on there. Drop the bell. Add some Star San into. Perfect. And that's it. It's all done. So thank you for watching. This has been my first try at making a seltzer. I've never drank a seltzer before, so I'm really curious to see how this turns out. There's 3 choices of flavors. I chose raspberry just for, if I'm only going to do one, I'll take raspberry over the lime or pineapple. But I'll monitor this, and then I'll do a follow-up tasting after it's done fermenting, and I get into a keg, and I can describe that. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video if you like, and please leave a comment. Thank you.